If you want to land a role in manufacturing operations, or if you lead a team and feel exhausted by resumes that look good but fall apart on the floor, you're in the right place. Most hiring advice wasn't built for manufacturing floors, safety risks, or real-world pressure. This channel is. Manufacturing hiring decisions directly affect safety, output, margins, and morale. One wrong hire doesn't just slow production, it creates problems everywhere. It's uncomfortable to admit that hiring carries this much weight because it forces a look backward. Most leaders didn't intend to hire poorly, they just hired fast under pressure. Acknowledging the impact isn't self-criticism, it's recognizing the reality of the role you already hold. I'm Renee Fry, and this is Building Your High-Performing Team, where we help you hire smarter, reduce turnover, drive business results so you can finally sleep at night. I've spent 2 decades recruiting and advising manufacturing leaders, and I've watched the same hiring mistakes quietly cost companies millions. Not because leaders didn't care, but because no one taught them how to evaluate what actually matters. If you want proven strategies to hire better and build teams that last, hit subscribe. We drop new insights every week. On this channel, we break down hiring decisions, leadership blind spots, and the real behaviors that separate teams that struggle from teams that perform on the floor and beyond it. Today, I'm breaking down the 5 traits manufacturing leaders consistently demand in their operations staff. I'm not talking about buzzwords or resume filler. I'm talking about the real behaviors leaders notice, reward, and promote. If you're a job seeker, this framework will help you stand out fast. If you're hiring, it will help you sharpen how you evaluate talent. And in an upcoming episode, I'll show you how to interview for these traits without relying on gut instinct, because that's where most hiring decisions quietly go wrong. Let's get into it. Number 1, problem-solving mindset. Manufacturing brings unpredictability every single day. Equipment fails, schedules shift, suppliers miss deliveries. The real question isn't if something breaks. The real question is who steps up when it does. Letting others think through problems can feel like inviting risk. When you've built something from scratch, control often feels synonymous with safety. That instinct makes sense, but holding all problem solving yourself doesn't reduce risk. It concentrates it. Strong operations professionals don't freeze and wait. They assess the situation, think critically, and take action. So picture this. It's Tuesday morning and the packaging line goes down. An average operator panics and escalates immediately. A high-value operator instinctively does 3 things. Diagnose the issue quickly, they identify a temporary workaround to keep production moving, and they escalate the issue with options and proposed solutions. Encouraging this behavior can feel like it blurs authority lines. That hesitation usually comes from years of being the only one expected to have answers. Leadership doesn't weaken when others think. It strengthens when decisions improve. And leaders want that behavior. You don't need an engineering degree to do this. You need the mindset of someone who owns outcomes, not just tasks. Expecting outcome ownership can feel like asking for more than people signed up for. And that fear often comes from not wanting to seem too demanding. Clear expectations don't drive people away. Unclear ones quietly exhaust everyone. And during interviews, leaders watch closely for this trait. When they ask, "Tell me about a problem you solved," they listen for your energy and ownership. Do you light up when you talk about solving problems, or do you sound rehearsed? Relying on gut instinct alone feels faster and more natural than structured questioning. Most leaders learned hiring through experience, not training. Depth doesn't make interviews uncomfortable. Vagueness does. The best operations hires think like partners, not passengers. Number 2, reliability and ownership. In manufacturing, reliability isn't a nice to have. Reliability determines whether the operation runs at all. When you own a line, a shift, inventory, or quality, people count on you. There's no backup plan. Consistency can feel at odds with creativity and culture. Many leaders worry that enforcing standards will make the environment rigid. Reliability doesn't kill culture, unpredictability does. And strong operations professionals show up consistently. They follow through without reminders. They take responsibility when something goes wrong. They communicate early when they see risk. Speaking of early can feel like overreacting or creating unnecessary tension. Silence often disguises itself as calm. In reality, early visibility prevents the stress everyone is trying to avoid. When someone flags an issue before it causes a shutdown, leaders notice immediately. And when someone stays silent and hopes the problem resolves itself, leaders see risk. Here's the key differentiator leaders notice fast. When something goes wrong, do you deflect, blame, or do you say, this happened on my shift, here's what I did, and here's how we're going to prevent it next time? Taking responsibility can feel dangerous when you already carry the weight of the business, but many leaders confuse ownership with fault. Accountability isn't about blame, it's about control over what happens next. That response separates operators from leaders. Number 3, technical aptitude and willingness to learn. Manufacturing today looks very different than it did 10 years ago. Automation, ERP systems, data dashboards, AI, digital workflows. Leaders don't expect perfection, they expect curiosity. Learning later in the game can quietly trigger embarrassment. Many leaders believe they should already know this. Staying curious doesn't expose weakness. Resisting learning quietly limits growth. High potential operations professionals learn systems quickly. They ask thoughtful questions. They understand cause and effect relationships in processes. They want to understand why, not just how. Manufacturing leaders tell me this constantly. I can train skills. I can't train curiosity. If you peruse certifications, learn new systems, or volunteer for cross-training, say it out loud. That behavior signals growth mindset, and growth mindsets lead to promotions. Talking about learning can feel like admitting gaps. Many leaders confuse confidence with certainty, and real confidence shows up as clarity about what you know and what you're actively improving. Number 4, communication and collaboration. Manufacturing runs as a team sport. Operations sits at the center of production, quality, maintenance, supply chain, and leadership. Your ability to communicate clearly, especially under pressure, directly affects performance. Changing how you communicate can feel inauthentic, and that discomfort often comes from equating consistency with integrity. Adaptation isn't performance, it's consideration. And strong operations professionals share information clearly and concisely. They adjust their communication style for different audiences. They speak up when something looks off. They collaborate instead of complain. Here's a real scenario. Incoming material consistently arrives out of spec. An average employee vents in the break room. A strong employee documents the issue, pulls the data, loops in procurement, and works toward a solution. Documentation can feel cold or overly corporate, especially in close-knit environments. Writing things down doesn't remove humanity, it removes confusion. That person doesn't just do the job, that person protects the operation. Number 5, adaptability and calm under pressure. Manufacturing doesn't operate on perfect days. Manufacturing runs on how people respond when things go sideways. Rush orders hit unexpectedly, equipment fails, staffing changes quickly. Supply disruptions force immediate decisions, and strong reactions can feel like proof that you care. Many leaders learn that intensity equals leadership. Calm doesn't signal engagement, it signals control. Operations professionals, leaders trust stay steady in those moments. Adaptability looks like this: shifting priorities without drama, staying focused on solutions, remaining flexible about responsibilities, maintaining standards during chaos. Flexibility can start to feel like self-betrayal when it becomes constant. Flexibility works when it's intentional, not when it's assumed. And calm under pressure doesn't mean you avoid stress. Calm under pressure means you don't let stress control the room. During interviews, leaders probe this skill intentionally. They want to understand how you think when the plan changes, because the plan always changes. Let me recap the 5 traits manufacturing leaders demand in operations staff: problem-solving mindset, reliability and ownership, technical aptitude and willingness to learn, communication and collaboration, adaptability, and calm under pressure. If you're a job seeker, use this list to audit your resume and interview stories. Self-assessment can feel threatening because it removes plausible deniability. Looking clearly doesn't slow progress, it directs it. And if you're hiring, use this list as your filter instead of relying on tenure or titles alone. Raising standards can feel unrealistic in a tight market. Standards don't shrink the pool, they clarify who belongs in it. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these traits do you see missing most often on the floor? Drop them in the comments. Public reflection can trigger fear of exposure. Thoughtful engagement doesn't signal struggle, it signals disconcernment. If this resonated and you found it valuable, share with another hiring leader who's serious about building stronger teams. If you've ever debriefed a hire and thought, we should have seen this coming, send this to that leader. Needing perspective can quietly challenge identity. Seeking support doesn't reduce authority, it strengthens decision quality. And if I can help you, that's what I'm here for. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. We drop fresh insights every week to help you hire smarter and lead stronger. If you're ready to fill a critical role or strengthen your leadership pipeline, visit talentq.net, where exceptional companies meet exceptional people. I'm Renee Fry, and this has been Building Your High-Performing Team from the recruiters who know your business, Talent Q. When your team is dialed in, that's when leadership feels effortless. Cheers for now, and I'll see you in the next one.